Good morning, Ireland. It is Saturday, August 24th. That makes this day number, can't remember, 154. This is the first day of my 6th month. I started hiking on the 24th of March and it's now the 24th of August. So, I am still in southern Maine. Southern Maine is relatively tough, especially when it immediately follows the White Mountains of New Hampshire. So I've got today, modest distance today, 13-ish miles, and tomorrow we've got 19, and then another couple of days beyond that will be the end of the area known as the difficult southern Maine, which is where the Bigelow Mountains are. Then it gets kind of easy. It gets very flat, and it's really just counting down the miles. We'll be doing bigger daily miles on our way up towards Katahdin for the closing stretches. I believe there's a lot of wild beauty ahead of us, so I'm looking forward to showing you some of that and obviously seeing it myself. You might have noticed a video or two back I did see a moose. It wasn't actually on the trail. I was on my way to the trail in a car with some friends, and I just spotted it, and they all got excited in the car. We basically turned around and I got that little bit of video. There's a hell of a lot of moose poop along the trail. I've just been passing loads of it, but I still haven't seen a moose actually on the trail. They're probably all just cunningly disguised as trees and things, so I don't know. So I am in the general vicinity of Rangeley, Maine, where we went into the last couple of evenings, and it's an okay little town. It's kind of a resort town, but I think its real time of year is the winter. You know, the winter sports seems to be its big thing, but it's okay. There's some decent eateries there, etc. So we have been indulging. So everything's going well. Hope everybody's happy. Hopefully you're going to stick with me for the last couple of weeks. And I'm eagerly looking forward to getting done and getting home, but I still want to make sure I capture enough of the last couple of 100 miles of trail and share it with you. So there you go. Catch you later. Hello, folky dokes. So when I was trying to answer the meaning of life question the other day, yesterday, I sort of touched on a word that I think I need to explain, and the word was honesty. And I did say at the time, I don't mean that I want to talk about liars. No, I'm not going to go there. But what I mean by honesty and why this has cropped up on this trip, it's really honesty with yourself about what you really believe to be true and what you say you believe to be true. And over here there's a very, very blatant example going on with a lot of the population. Now, I love America. I love Americans. The variety over here of everything is just so impressive. The kindness of people, regardless of their background or their status, whatever, is just incredible. I've met just amazing people. 99% amazing people. There's another topic. See how I feel. I might tell you about the 1% another time. So, So as the world knows right now, America is going through a pretty crazy political time. And there are always arguments for and against. And I always believe in sort of rocking the boat so that you can resettle it. But, and I don't really want to give my opinion, what I'm really thinking about here are the individuals, the individual Americans. And looking at it as an outsider, I'm listening to people who are basically brainwashed. They're brainwashed all their life into believing a certain thing, or just maybe not even believing it, but they certainly say it. And they are all too willing to put forward an argument that I believe that they know well the argument is false, incorrect. And it has nothing to do with their intelligence levels. And it has more to do with nurture. They're brought up in a Democratic family or brought up in a Republican family, and all too often they run with it stubbornly. And, they excuse Hillary or excuse Trump or excuse whomever, regardless of what they do, and over-criticize the other side. And it makes me think about this personal honesty where, I don't even want to bring this topic to a conclusion about American politics, because I don't think there's going to be a conclusion for some time. And my opinion doesn't matter a jot. But what I'm just using it as the example for discussing what I mean about honesty. Forget politics for a minute, forget most things. But if you just stop, again, like I said, and think for a minute about things you believe, the things you think, you think, and just really break it down. And just interrogate yourself and really look to the experts. And don't just take the experts' word for granted either, because there's experts that are firmly embedded in each camp as well, of religious, non-religious, political, non-political, which side of the political spectrum you're on, etc., etc. But you've got to seriously question yourself and just reflect on the things that you allow to come out of your mouth, And again, putting America aside for a moment, I take it back home, and it's a similar thing. I think we all too often, and I'm not removing myself from this, I'm exactly the same. It's so easy to just spurt out what you've always spurted out and stubbornly defend it and not be prepared to sort of climb down and just acknowledge to yourself. People are forgiving. If you've always got something wrong, it's brave and it's big to kind of go, Jesus, you know what? I've just had this epiphany. I've just, just admit that, God damn it, I've been wrong about this. And I think I'm now right about it. I think I've got better information. I've allowed better information to get into my head. And, I'm changing my view, which might mean changing your vote, which might mean, becoming more or less religious, or changing your religion. Religion's a hot topic for me. I can't say very much about it on this trail, but maybe I'll blurt my thoughts on it into my phone some other day, and it might end up on the editing room floor, as they say. So might this. But I'm just waffling. I want everyone to be honest with themselves. People can't really be 100% honest outwardly. It doesn't fit society. It doesn't fit in business. You have to, you don't want to be hurting people or doing anything that causes damage. But sometimes you have to, save the 100% truth statement for later. It's all part of I like to say it's all part of an honest strategy. But you yourself should always be honest with you yourself, and have your eyes wide open to yourself, and just accept that there's a certain amount of deep programming that goes on in your life when you're growing up, when you're a child. And it's just important to try and break into that. And again, mild meditation can help. Just get yourself into a quiet, dark space and just think about life and think about stuff. And God, I'm rambling. But I don't think any of this is going to end up on my videos. Alrighty. Good morning, Ireland. It is it Sunday? Oh God, it's really just blurring all into one. It's I think it's the 25th of August, whatever day of the week that is. I can't remember. So it's a beautiful morning. It's bright, as you can see. It's about 7 a.m. We're going about 30 minutes or so. We're on our way to Spalding Mountain Lean-To Shelter. So we're going to camp there. And then tomorrow we've got a modest day. I think it's only about 14 or so. And then we get to the next town for resupply, which I think is Stratton. I might have mixed the town names up. I think it's Stratton in Maine. So everything is going well. So we started at about mile 1972-ish this morning. So we'll be somewhere around 1990, 1991 this evening. So tomorrow, very exciting, we'll pass 2,000 miles. 2,000 miles. Said with a smile. Nearly home. Yeah, so I'll catch you later. This is another one of these never-ending climbs. Just approaching the top. It's about, I think it's 4120 feet. We don't have too many 4,000 footers left. I think it's just this and 2 more, maybe 3 more over the next couple of days. And then it's low ground until we get up to Katahdin. Don't think there's any little spikes on the way. But it's a beautiful day, beautiful morning, crystal clear. That shock top up there, striding along. Did I mention she's a 5th grade karate black belt? She's competed in the World Championships in Ireland, actually, quite a few times. Here you go, have to be careful around her. Catch you later. We are Saddleback Mountain, 4116. I was 4 feet off. Try and do a quick 360 without throwing up. Beautiful. All those years of ballroom dancing finally paying off. And tonight we are having Yumity Yum, into which I will throw some tuna. Then I'll snuggle up in my tent, which is over there. Home sweet home. Other hiker. And shock tops over there. Cozy, cozy. Good morning, Ireland. It is Monday, August 26th. That campsite I was in last night was Spalding Mountain Lean-To, which was nice enough. Probably the coldest night I've had in quite some months, I have to say. It was quite a chilly night, but I survived, still alive. No frostbite or anything like that. but I was certainly wrapped up in pretty much everything I had to wear. So yeah, everything's good. So I'm actually on my way. I've just come down from Spalding Mountain itself, and I'm on my way to 2 of the last 4,000 footers, which are the Crocker Mountains. Not really looking forward to them. I'm feeling a bit tired. All the ups are feeling a bit strenuous. I think I need a 0. So I'll be voting for one of those for tomorrow. Okay, so actually, rather than trying to make sure the camera is pointing at me, I'm going to flip it around so I can have one less thing to worry about while I'm talking to you. Okay, so just a couple of funny things, sort of funny things. So over the last few days I've mentioned you know, what came out of that meaning of life question, and I blabbered on ad nauseum about honesty with yourself. And I also accidentally mentioned about 99% of people I've met on the trail have just been amazing. And I mean amazing, like they're just way above average people, you know, they're just superb people. Maybe, oh no, I'm not going to complete that sentence. So in reality, it's probably more like 99 point, I don't know how many people I've met, but 99 point, I've met 3 idiots, basically, out of, I don't know, 1,000 plus people that I've encountered on the trail. And I thought, because of this honesty thing, I'd tell you about the first one, which was initially funny and then really not funny. So I got to have dinner in a microbrewery one night with a tramily that I wasn't really part of. They were very nice people, very friendly, we were having a laugh. There were 2 people present that I had been hiking with, and that's how it happened. Oh, sorry, 3 that I happened to be, you know, I was just welcomed into this sort of, onto this, basically this dinner table. And we were having a laugh, and then one guy who was probably, I don't know, maybe 30, big guy, shaved, shiny head, big redneck beard, announces to everybody that he's a flat earthist. So there were some ill-concealed chuckles around the table, and you know, me too. I thought it was kind of funny. And he then goes on to announce that he's a Holocaust denier. And for me, that's when it really got sort of serious. Because, well, just to tell you how that conversation ended, you know, to say that you're a flat earthist, yeah, people will just think you're a bit of an idiot. Bit of a, you know, excuse to have a bit of a laugh and a titter. But to say that you don't believe the Holocaust happened, that just means you're an asshole. You know, really an asshole. And you're probably involved in some brainwashing groups, who I won't mention, over this side of the planet, who believe such bullshit. And now back onto the subject of honesty. Because I don't believe he was being honest. Can anyone truly believe that the earth is flat, or that the Holocaust didn't happen? I don't believe so. Now, you might think it's harmless to have a few silly beliefs, but when you organise your life around it, and when you're quite aggressive about it, it's, you know, it's not funny anymore. Especially when you're trying to influence other people, you know, and you're prepared to take up arms for this stupid non-belief. So that's sort of what I'm getting at about personal honesty. You know, if you could tap into that guy's brain and into the little bit that holds, you know, what he really genuinely believes. I don't believe that the earth is flat and that the Holocaust didn't happen. Really exists in that little space in his brain. So there you go. So that was one of the 3. I'll have a think about telling you about the others some other time. But that one was kind of relevant to what I've been rambling about over the last couple of days. Hope you're all going to have a nice day. It's lovely here today. It's sunny. I didn't get walking till about 8:35. really slow at getting up and going when I'm camping, especially when it's freezing cold. And I was all kind of sort of snug in my sleeping bag. Just couldn't quite get out of out of it and get breakfast cooking and all the rest. However, okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. So I just just passed the 2,000 mile marker there a few minutes ago, and it just had me thinking of a couple of memories on the trail, and I thought I'd share what for me was a really funny story that happened way back. So you might remember a lovely couple that I was sort of hiking in the vicinity of for a few weeks, Hook and Slips. Really nice couple. Slips is a teacher, and Hook is a very proud fireman and paramedic, and told us a few things here and there about things that have happened. And one night he was giving us a load of these tales, which were very interesting, and he's very proud of the fact that his unit is, I think I've got this right, his unit has the highest cardiac arrest survival rate in America, or is it the world? I don't know, but impressive regardless. So there was a guy in the group who I won't name because I don't want to incriminate him, but sitting there, really lovely guy, funny to be around, and just funny, cheeky kind of face. And all of a sudden he says, oh look, I'm never going to see you guys again, so I'm going to just tell you something. Myself and two of my friends burned down a house one time. We're looking at each other like, holy crap, did he really? And then he went on to explain that where he lives is in a valley, and across the valley, that was nearly fall number 9, by the way. I'll tell you about number 7 and 8 in a minute. Across the valley there was a derelict house, which was an eyesore. So him and his friends hatched this plan that they'd basically torch the place. So they did that, and very quickly went across the valley to his house to watch it burn down, and saw all the ambulances, or not ambulances, but fire brigades coming to deal with the fire. And they sat back proud in the knowledge that they'd done a favour for their town. So there's an example of some of the random shit you get on the AT. There you go. Maybe you had to be there. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, falls. So a couple of days ago, coming down a slippery slope, basically ended up on my ass. So that was a simple one, fall number 7. This morning, I did a slightly more spectacular one where I ended up rolling over a couple of times, scuffed my shins and my knees and my right elbow. But I managed in the process to press down on my right trekking pole, and it just sprang into the air. It looked kind of funny, and sort of leapt about 10 feet forward. So a little bit of comedy value in every piece of pain, I guess. So I'm up to 8, and I'll try and keep it at 8 for the rest of the trek. Okay, catch you later. Good morning, Ireland. It is Wednesday, 28th of August. This is day 158. Just on my way up the Bigelows. Little viewpoint here to go out and see. Very nice. Oh, nice. Look at that. Ooh, bit of a drop off here. So I guess they are the Bigelows. So right now we're standing at about 3,600 feet, and they go up to, well, they're both over 4,000 feet. Can't remember the exact numbers. Nice pond there. Ski resort in the distance. Nice. Looks pretty serious. Yeah. Beautiful. So, couple of wee shout outs. I got a very nice comment yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. It wasn't a question, but it was just a really nice comment. A lady who I didn't quite figure out who she was initially, but I do know who you are now. So Catherine H. Very nice words, thank you. I get a real lift out of that. Just to know that someone's enjoying, somebody who doesn't know me, really, and is just enjoying my my journey and my ramblings and my waffling and all that. So I don't think I've ever actually met you. Maybe I have, but I'm sure I will someday. So hopefully you keep enjoying the next couple of weeks. I think I've today and I think 10 more hiking days left. So I guess there'll be 2, maybe 3 more videos. I don't know whether I'll do any kind of review or follow up or whatever. But right now there'll be certainly at least 2 more to get to Katahdin. So yes, thanks for the comment. The other one, so Becca's friend Carrie, slightly weird one. She's telling me that her boyfriend is my #1 fan, and I think she suggested that if I would auction a pair of my hiking underpants when I'm finished with them, she was going to get them framed, you know, give them to her boyfriend. Bit odd, Carrie, in fairness, but you know, one man's trash, another man's treasure. Okay, no problem. Going to cost you about €100. All right. So there you go. Your boyfriend, I didn't say his name, Shane Cullen. Hi Shane. Thanks for watching. Glad you're enjoying it. And yeah, thanks a million. Tatty bye. This is Pierce Falls, runs down to the Kennebec River. So this is Pierce Pond, and this is a dam that we've been kind of warned about, that it sometimes has some wet sections, to say the least. So just going carefully across. I don't know how long it goes on for. Oh, I thought it was natural. It's obviously partly man-made. Looks like they've backfilled it with rocks. So nice there. Maine is beautiful, I have to say. It's full of lakes, full of fishing areas and little hidden cabins, and obviously people spend a lot of time up here relaxing and fishing and water skiing and doing all those great things. And then in the winter it switches to you know, winter wonderland, so there's lots of ski resorts and skidooing and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, I'll go on to say. Catch you later. Good morning, Ireland. It is Thursday, August 29th, and I am in Maine still. I will be until the end, of course, but I am now away from the what they refer to as the tough southern Maine section. So I'm doing a 20 miler today. It's a fairly easy, low level, 20 miles. It includes the Kennebec River ferry crossing, which is basically a canoe that takes you and one other at a time across a fairly wide river, which is unpredictable and has undercurrents and all that kind of stuff. So they don't want you wading across or swimming across or anything like that. So they lay on, so the ATC lays on a free canoe ferry thing. So there's a guy there that basically takes you across the river. So that's kind of cool. So a little question from Mark. I'm going to expand on the question a little bit. So Mark just asked, what will my mileage be when I hit the end, Katahdin? Okay, I've probably touched on most of this a few times, but the official distance of the AT, and therefore my mileage when I get done, is 2,192 miles. So the AT starts from the very tippy top of Springer Mountain in Georgia and runs to the very tippy top of Mount Katahdin in Maine. So obviously you've got to get up to Springer and you've got to get down from Katahdin. So I did what's known as the approach trail, which is 8.8 miles to get up to Springer Mountain. And then the track down from Katahdin is approximately 5 miles. So I will have done about 14 miles to get to the start and to get away from the end on top of the 2192. I also show on my little summary page at the end of the videos what I call my total miles. And that basically includes getting to and from campsites and water sources and into towns and out of towns and all that kind of stuff. So looking at it, it appears to run at about 15 to 16% on top of my AT miles. So that's going to add, more than 300 miles to the total at the end. So there you go. So officially 2192, but in reality it'll be more like 2,500 miles. So just to bolt onto that, when the AT was first commissioned, the distance was 2,054 miles and has gradually increased. It increases by a few miles pretty much every year. That's because they reroute parts of the trail and they find new little torturous parts for us to be tested on and to terrify us on and all that kind of stuff. And then they give other little parts a break so that they can, revegetate it and repair it and what have you. So, but it is gradually getting longer and longer. So there you go. So also I was going to expand on that was which parts are the toughest. So for me, I guess, I got myself in reasonable shape before I came over here. So I was, straight into kind of mid-teens on mileage per day, pretty much from the start. And I guess if you haven't done that and you're using the trail to actually get you fit, that must make the start very difficult and quite strenuous. So I guess, getting through Georgia and North Carolina must be pretty tough in that scenario. But in retrospect, now I would look back on those sections and say, well, having done the White Mountains and seen how steep and sort of dangerous they are and how strenuous they are, the mountains of Georgia and North Carolina yes, there's loads of them, and yes, they get up quite high, but they're graded out, so you don't have the really severe slopes that we've had in New Hampshire and Maine. So for me, that section wouldn't count as the toughest. I would say the most physically demanding sections have been two consecutive sections, and that's getting through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, which run for something like 100 miles. But what caught me a little bit by surprise was probably the next 100 miles. So getting out of those mountains and into southern Maine is still quite tough. When you look at the gradient profiles in the GutHooks app, it doesn't look that bad. But in reality, the GutHooks app doesn't have this sort of the detail to show that this slope you're looking at that looks okay, you know, it doesn't look too demanding, is actually made up of, you know, a near flat bit and then a severe climb and then a near flat bit and maybe a severe drop and then a severe climb again, and all you're actually seeing, you know, is what looks like a fairly okay 1 mile section or something that looks like, okay, it's just a decent looking climb, but it doesn't have the what's the word, you know, I guess the detail to show that. I think it will eventually. I think it's getting more and more detailed as they go along, and I don't know whether it would be a good thing for people to know exactly what's ahead of them. It might put them off, you know, but certainly that, I would call it a 200-mile stretch that probably ended, for me, it ended a couple of days ago, was tough. You know, it was more like an all-over body workout. So you, even the sections there, your legs mightn't have been too bad, but you were really draining your energy resources because you were using your arms and shoulders and getting into all kinds of shapes to try and get through some of those ascents and descents. So there you go. I know you wanted a simple answer again, but as usual, I blabber on. I'm all on my own. I need people to talk to, you know. So when I get a chance to answer a question, I get all this, get this opportunity to get all these words out of my head. So there you go. Talk to you real soon. Just missing a moose. That's all that's missing from this picture. Really disappointed I haven't seen a moose in this kind of setting. I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay my moose tax, my moose fee. This is a cool structure, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Kind of impressive. This is all done by volunteers, hiking enthusiasts, etc. Back into the dark forest. Ta-da! There's something big moving in the trees over there. I don't know whether to go any closer. Oh, there's a car coming now. So much for being quiet. Well, that was almost exciting. There's definitely something moving the bushes and trees there. I just couldn't quite see what it was. I didn't want it to, if it was a moose, I didn't want it to charge out at me. However, another uneventful pursuit of wildlife. So just coming to the end of my 20 miles. It's been a lovely day walking by the lakes. Beautiful area in Maine, I have to say. Very wild and natural. Okay, so this is the I'll cut all this shit out.